Well, let's see whether it is the Aussies and the Kiwis on order or whether it is the Thai side of QConfirm to take out this APAC South game. We go to club. Look, the guys have already touched on the desk that it hasn't been the best record in recent times for a team like QC, but, you know, we're looking through and hoping that they can develop some more consistency. This also isn't a map we've seen Order play great on recently, getting 7-2'd by Rufflecopter in the OCN, so they're looking to hopefully spice things up here.
Yeah, and to dive into like QConfirm's recent history on Clubhouse as well, I mean, the desk briefly touched on it, but they're actually kind of on a losing streak with Clubhouse. They haven't really had any recent victories that stand out to me. Looking back here, they did get a 7-4 in the Operation League Thailand, but that was way back in July. Their form was super different back then. I'm just not sure whether this was the play from QConfirm, especially because I feel like in recent history, Order have just presented at least some better form on this map.
Definitely sets the stakes quite high here for QC. A regulation win, or I believe a win in general for QC, will lock them in for the 2022 season, so that's a lot for them to aspire to here. QC have had some significant highs, but let's see if Order can put them down. I like seeing the Maverick come through, the Thermite and the Ace coming through. So Hibana and Thatcherban, we're going to see impact tricking. Maverick a little bit less necessary now, though, that Kaid has gone out.
Absolutely, definitely a good ban on Clubhouse, in particular that Kaid, just so strong on so many different sites. So get it out of the way, does make your attacks a little simpler. I like that. Nothing about these bans really screams complicated or like anybody's trying to do anything too cheeky. All just quite strong bans on Clubhouse, really.
We will see the Mav. It's interesting to see Order go. Okay, the Ying coming through. I was going to remark upon the Twitch pick, but, you know, pre-6 pick phase, it's hard to commit to a point. There you go. So Bailey goes back onto the Twitch, teases out the Ying. I'm a bit interested in the Twitch. Like, yeah, she's seen a couple buffs recently, but you've got your Maverick. Do you really need someone who's looking to counter that util, or is there perhaps another layer there that I'm not considering?
Look, honestly, good question. I just think in general, the clash is going to be really, really strong for QC because Order just, yeah, they don't have a good counter for this. Frag grenades, maybe. Outside of that, there's nothing really there, so I don't know. It really depends where they are going to play this clash. My guess is going to be cache CCTV, because if you're going to really try and get up in the face of somebody and be quite a pain, I feel like that's where it would be. That being said, though, I mean, you could definitely play it around close to site, maybe around logistics or over at the Jacuzzi Breach to keep people at bay there. I don't know. I'm really curious how Producer Boom is going to kind of operate with this clash.
Yeah, with Mirror Band out, looking to hold fortified positions, you're going to want to be leveraging ops like your Clash, even your Alibi with the shield that she's got. Haven't quite seen where that shield's been placed. It's not on the bed, which is a pretty common spot for it. There you go. Dark chucks it down. Try and engage an aggressive angle, watching an entrance into construction from Cash and holding on to that from bedroom. So perhaps not a very hard cash hold for QC.
Yeah, I actually feel like that's more to watch the cross into Cash, just because of how deep he ended up placing it in Con. It's not very protected. So I agree with you. It's really not going to be a hard cash hold here. And as you can see, there's not really a lot of outlines directly in Cash. So this is a good advantage for Order, at least, to be able to get this map control nice and early. But important for them to not jump the gun. They need to be able to drone ahead because there is a slight trap ahead of them. And they certainly don't want to go too deep too early and lose some of these early entries.
It's free real estate for Order, and they can keep pushing forward. Jack drones them in. Ooh, I like this from Nate. That's a cheeky little exothermic, looking to get a nice breach low in through into construction. There we do see the fruits of that labor come on through. Nate spots out the Clash's feed, but nothing he can quite shoot just yet.
I really like this, though, because this is going to prevent that shield play. Now they're just going to be able to clear it out with that frag grenade. I'm not sure if that got a nice bounce just then, though. Hopefully it did get the shield. But either way, this is really good progression from Order here. And I don't know, this is really on QConfirm right now. This is a really decent amount of map control momentum from Order produced early. But this is a big point. Like, what are they going to do with Jacuzzi? Are they really going to try and get that wall open to put some pressure at the top of main stairs, or are they really focusing hard on just like Con logistics pressure and they'll spread around site that way?
I mean, you've got to breach Jacuzzi, right? Nate does open the bank account, but Specker traded back through a C4. Nico's tempted to push down the Logi hatch. But realistically, Jack or Nate needs to rotate over and breach that Jacuzzi wall. There's so much mobility afforded to QConfirm while they don't have to worry about that angle.
Yeah, they can play all the way through gym hallway, through towards bathroom. They can just hold much deeper angles and, again, have some actual mobility, which is generally one of the weaknesses of gym bedroom. So total good point here. That is such a sharp shot from Hajime onto Nate. QConfirm standing up big, and just like this, Dev, all on Jack Dad's shoulders.
They turn it on at the last minute. Now Jack pinged out and jumped out. QConfirm take what ended up being a very convincing first round. Order had all the ingredients, but they couldn't cook up a storm.
Lacking that one critical ingredient. I guess the equivalent of salt, right, is opening Jacuzzi wall.
I feel like that's the bread to the bun, honestly. Like, it's a pretty substantial component.
Absolutely. I just feel like that was what really messed with them, because as we were kind of saying before the total collapse, QConfirm just still had so much mobility. So even though Order did have that map control, they've done a really good job clearing out Con. Even to the most part, Logi, that doesn't really count for anything if there's nothing to actually help kind of defunnel your opponents, or defunnel yourselves, really. They were always just going to have to go through Condor or come from Logi, and that's just really awkward. Of course, they have the windows, but with that corner around the Jacuzzi wall still being free, yeah, it was just all QConfirm. So good stuff from QConfirm to identify that and capitalize.
Now they can go downstairs. Typically, people will look at gym bedroom as one of the weaker sites on this map. Now, I'm going to double check the stats and see if that's backed up here. I don't reckon it would be. Going on to Clubhouse. Now, we haven't had many plays here, and so I'm not even going to reference the stats. Like, we've got 3 plays, and it's only been won by the defense once, so I feel like that's not enough sample size to really draw an inference, but I think most people would agree, right, that of the 3 primary bomb sites you're going to be looking at, gym bedroom is usually the one that you're expecting the attack to win the most out of those 3. That puts QC in a really strong position here. Like, they've already won their gym, go downstairs, arguably the best site for defense. They should be pretty happy here.
Definitely agree. I think that was a really solid round win, just overall for QConfirm, even though of course it was the first round, but it's a really good site to have put in the pocket for these first 3, as they'll have to rotate through, you know, their first 3 choices. This side is certainly defensible in so many different ways. Even with the Kaid off the board, you can impact trick, you can play aggressive on a roam. There are just so many ways to facilitate winning this site comfortably on the defense. And sure, it has only had 1 play so far for APAC South this stage, but it still is the most defended site based on that info. And I'm sure if we check back previous stages, it's the same.
But of course, QConfirm aren't going to give up map control for free. In fact, they're going to not only take the map control, but take a life. That's Nico going down. A pivotal pick. Bailey does trade, but yeah, like Colas didn't get droned out, and Jack is lost. That's such a big pick there. QC can fall back to the bomb site with the man advantage, with those hatches still reinforced, and with the only hard breach remaining being Nate with his 2 exothermics.
Yeah, some really disjointed pushing there from Order, I think. It looks like a lot of their drones were probably focused on that top floor, trying to ensure that there was no players, and you can see here that Specker's got that control, but actually the roamers were still on this middle floor, just around this central hallway near kitchen, and yeah, it really came back to bite them there. They've lost those 2 opening picks nice and early. They lost the Maverick. Not a big deal with the Kaid off the board, but either way, it's just not a great way to start the round.
Still a couple of things to work with. Oh my god, you can't be letting those go away for free like Colas.
No.
As if Nate is going to be tilted out of his brain after that one. QC getting away with something they really shouldn't have. What is going on for Order?
Certainly a bit of a messy start here, but look, if you can afford a couple of messy rounds, Clubhouse attack is probably where you'd want that to kind of slot in, right? Like if you're going to drop a few, that's where you could expect for it to happen. It's not great though, and also the first couple of rounds, sure, they can still turn this around. Got 50 seconds here in this 2v4, but QConfirm has just so much advantage right here. And now they have all the man advantage. Again, Bailey, he's got quite the job ahead of him.
Yeah, and they're looking for him. They took out his drone. Now he's got to walk into this crossfire. Nice shot there with the DMR. They're getting hungry. You look at them. They're looking for him. Bailey's already found 2 kills, so this is going to need to be an ace. 30 seconds to work with. Lovely skin there. But don't think that the beautiful seasonal skin will save you here. Not for Order, not for Bailey. He's got to walk right into this Banshee. QC is just going to be waiting. And into the meat grinder he goes. Producer Boom shuts him down with a nice shotgun blast. And I love the Rick and Morty skin as well on the shotty. That's a nice, easy one done for QC 2 rounds straight.
Yeah, they'll definitely be laughing as they've slotted those two in. Didn't really feel, that round in particular, just didn't really feel that contested from Order. Quite the mess at the start. So they're going to have to try and improve on that when Church Arsenal comes back in rotation. But here we go. QConfirm go for the perfect 3-0 through sights. Certainly going to be the start to a very dominating kind of defense half, because these first two rounds have just been really great from QC.
Yeah, it's not just whether the round is won by Team A or Team B, right? But it's the nature of how that round's won. And like you're saying, you know, this is not Order taking these rounds close. And that's where the concern comes in. Like, yes, we're talking a clubhouse attack, so perhaps you give a little bit of favor to QC on the D, but it's just not good enough for Order so far. And we need to see them step up, especially considering, you know, they have been punching above their weight in APAC South this stage, stage 3. But OCN, it's been absolutely abysmal. They're currently, I believe they ended up at the bottom of the standings in the last position in OCN. And APAC South, while they've had some good moments, it certainly hasn't been enough for playoffs, not yet.
Yeah, and look, to your point about how well they've been performing in APAC South, I think this is one of the first times that they've actually had a player heavy feature in the leaderboards for the stage stats. Just looking at Nate here, he is in the top 5 for 4 categories, which is pretty impressive. He's 4th for rating, 3rd in the league for KD, 3rd highest for cost at 78%, which is a pretty decent percentage there. And he's actually got the 5th most for plants in the league as well. So really well-rounded player for Order. He's definitely been standing up this stage, but yeah, they just haven't been able to get the standings penetration that they need to make them feel much safer in terms of the full season.
The thing we always say with Order is we don't doubt these are strong players individually. You talk about people like Bailey as well. But
totally true.
It's the, I don't know, the glue that sticks them together that seems to be missing sometimes. It's that macro level strategy and coordination. Like, you know, sometimes a lack of droning, and it really punishes them. That's what we need to see them improve.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this round is a new one, so hopefully they can try and get something back here. It's a really nice little drone effort here from Bailey to get a couple of pieces of utility on site with the Twitch. Being quite effective so far. This first minute been fairly decent from Order, as it was in round 1 as well, but it's kind of that mid-round where it fell apart. Seeing a heavy presence from Order over on the con site already. Specca lucky to be alive after that engagement.
As this round gets deeper, we've got to be concerned here for Order. QC have both the Tachanka and the Smoke, even the Maestro, you can mention, as really strong Planthenol operators. So Nico needs to get to work downstairs here, really do some good vertical stuff, flushing out some of these defenders. At least there is now finally that breached wall here in through construction to Cash.
Yeah, just some really great vertical angles here by Nico, unfortunately flashing himself. But yeah, he's been getting a lot of info here. He's spotting a lot of players on site through these holes, even though he wasn't getting the picks, pinging them out for his teammates at least so they can try and cover those rotations.
Oh,
Nate,
what?
Oh my lord, Hajime on the jump out from CC. That is just absolutely derailed Order's attack.
No refrag here onto the Tachanka, but he just walks straight on through. There's a possible for a flank as well. It's just Jack and Bailey left. Finally, Jack gets one here for Order, but Producer Boom still got the gas. Spacehead's got the flank. And Bailey, the last man alive for Order, all alone outside kennels. DMR in hand, once again finding himself in a 1-on-4. And even when it looks like Order have got something going, it just falls to pieces. QConfirm 3 convincing rounds back to back.
Yeah, a good point from you there, Dev. Like, that first minute looked fantastic. You know, they really did a great job with CC wall, rotated around, got that con pressure, but there's just some really important things that aren't happening from Order. I mean, was the drone working round 2? In that round, no one watching that CC window. Pretty common jump out, you would say, but I don't know, also quite of a, you know, a brave jump out, if you want to call it that, from Hajime. But at the end of the day, if you feel like no one's watching that window, why not? Give it a crack.
I wouldn't say it's a common jump out, because it's usually, like, it's the kind of thing where you're just going to be a free kill if you try that. You know, there's probably someone on that window watching you. If you walk anywhere near that window as a defender, you're probably dead. But, like, it's It's not necessarily common, but it's definitely risky and an attacker favored because usually, like any other day of the week, Hajime would have been a free kill there. But the thing with QC and some of these APAC South teams, you know, like Elevate, is they take those risks. They love it. They absolutely love it. And they'll look for those opportunities. And they're actually really good at identifying when they're going to work and executing them. But now, it's Order who's failed to execute a single round win, and they now take their tactical pause.
Yes. They are, and I don't blame them. Honestly, these first 3 rounds have really just not been great at all from Order, and this is a big opportunity here for them to try and figure something out. Seeing Bailey go to the IQ, not sure if he's going to bring the 552. Switching off. I was going to make an Order skin plug. If you are interested in the Order skin, it is on the 552. The reason I was going to mention it is there's a feature in that gun that says it's 95% mental or 95% mental. I can't remember exactly the quote, but it's from Specker, and this is the time for them to really get on top of their mentals, I guess.
I mean, Specker loves that motto, but Order, funnily enough, is a team that hasn't necessarily been known to live and breathe that motto, unfortunately. You know, they're a team that has seemingly suffered from mental. And look, we've got Bailey here on the commando, like you said. So once we get in game, once we get to the action phase, I'm sure that Mandy on the Obs will show us Bailey's lovely rifle and that Order skin. They certainly need to embody that mentality now. QConfirm go back to gym and bedroom.
Yeah, they do, and look, why not? Held it very well in round 1. They've just done the sweep of sights, which is what you love to do on your defense halves, for sure. And I'm just wondering whether Order have now identified at least what was the biggest issue for them in round 1, and that was, again, what you and I feel like was just that absolute, like, ignoring of Jacuzzi wall. They just left it fully closed.
Honestly, I feel like every single round, you could just point to one simple thing that if Order had done right, they would have won the round, or at least would have been a really good shot in. Like, in the first round, it was breaching the QZ wall. In the second round, it was droning the roamers, like, a bit better, because, I mean, frankly, how Jack died in bar was pretty horrendous. In round 3, it was just that Tachanka jump out. So it's, these rounds have been pretty one-sided, but it does seem like just tiny little touch-ups and Order will be winning these.
Yeah, I definitely feel that. So, see what happens here. Looks like it is a similar setup from QConfirm this time around. Playing a little bit more aggressive in towards Cash though. Hopefully, yeah, Order can try shut this down early, and this Clash playing even deeper. They're going to start to retreat now, and again, it's going to be, as you said in round 1, free real estate for Order. They're going to be able to take CC and Cash, and for the most part, Con fairly easily. It's really just about where they start to spread out and start to kind of pinch their opponents from.
Loving the IQ buff here. Bailey making full use. Producer Boom makes an aggressive peek. The timing of that was so unfortunate for Order. Nate must have been trying to put that exothermic down in that same place he did last time. There was a player for Order meant to be covering, but he just wasn't watching at the exact moment. And Order once again live and die by such a minute detail.
I mean, times like that can be frustrating as a support player, a hard breacher. I'm sure a lot of people can empathize. Unfortunate there for Order to kind of let that slip. First 90 seconds, really struggling this time around. They're having to use that Maverick to try and at least just hold tabs on that Con door from bedroom. But again here, we're not seeing them go for Jacuzzi at all. I mean, they could have rotated this Maverick around and gone the old trick breach. But no, it's just not what's happening.
I mean, it would have been nice if Nate was alive, right? He could have just gone over and dealt with it himself. There's not even any wall denial on QC, so that's just the freest breach for Nate.
Definitely.
Order is stalling out here, Raven, and I'm honestly getting real scared again.
Yeah, look, I'm not feeling too confident about this attack from Order. Again, it's quite linear, one-dimensional, and QConfirm just have all the positions, the right positions needed to shut this down. Some really great angles. And on top of the fact, Producer Boom, he's the walking shield. He's got the extra info. He can tank some bullets for his teammates. It's just looking like a very comfortable closeout for QConfirm right now.
30 seconds now, still this Clash survives, still full HP, no doubt, thanks in part to those Thunderbirds Kona stations. Spacehead, a decent position to put pressure on that construction door. Dark as well. Oh, but Specker wins the fight onto Spacehead. And now Dark has to hold on into Logi. Order just execute the side, but Hajime holds on. The trades go back and forth. Still QConfirm end up on top. It's just Bailey. Got the 95% mental on the commando, but there's no time.
You have run out of time.
And QConfirm string together 4 rounds in a row.
Yeah, it just looked a bit messy again at the end. Specker almost did find an opening, getting a bit of a surprise pick there that got them a bit of an entry to try and execute, but again, you saw it. There was just so much movement around the back end of site towards the top of main stairs and bathroom and logistics, where QConfirm could really just facilitate. I don't know whether you really classify it as a retake, because I wouldn't say Order took site, but you know, they could facilitate the bit of the onslaught and just weather that completely. Yet again, QConfirm just looked pretty strong in that round.
At what point does this turn, right, Raven? Because Order realistically need at least 2 rounds on their attack half as par for the course. I think 2 rounds, they get the next 2, and they're probably pretty happy, probably pretty confident, just say, look, we started this game really slow, but let's redeem ourselves on the defense. But if they lose another attack in this half whatsoever, I mean, that's got to be pretty grim.
Definitely, 5-1 halves are just... I mean, of course, you can still facilitate a comeback from that, but it can be difficult. And I think, to put it into context, there's a lot on the line in this game for both these teams. It's not just Order, it's definitely both these teams. I think the desk did preface it perfectly in that QConfirm winning 3 points here, I believe, saves them for next year's APAC League. That's a pretty big deal, and you know, Order are kind of vying for the same thing here. They're trying to not be in relegations, but unfortunately, only one of them is really showing up to try and make that, keep that dream alive, I should say.
Certainly a concern. In the seasonal standings right now for APAC South 2021, Wildcard and Order are tied at the bottom on 23 points. Direwolf just ahead at 25. QC a little bit of an arm's length above the bottom 2 at 27. So QC will definitely be happy to win this. No longer feel that pressure. My God, where was that angle? Specker is under the pump.
Yeah,
oh my God. From outside the window through that open wall. But once again, QConfirm, for what I believe is the 4th round in a row, have found the opening pick and no response from Order.
Yeah, again, just it's just a little disjointed. QConfirm just having so much space to move around, and they're really abusing it perfectly. Let's kind of flip the angle here. QConfirm are just doing such a great read into some of these shortcomings of Order, and they're punishing them for it. It's just this Church Arsenal defense in particular just looks so good from QConfirm, and it's not just because Order is, you know, really just not nailing it tonight. It's also because QConfirm are just getting a really good read into some of these issues of Order.
A lot of people talk about the Thai playstyle, you know, QC and Elevate, of being like hyper aggressive. But I think, you know, another layer of it is they're just so good at identifying their opponent's weakness and playing into it and changing their playstyle mid-round. For example, you know, at the start here, oh yes.
Too low.
Oh, no, at least he gets the exothermic, and that is the 2nd exothermic from Nate. So Jack is going to be the only one able to open up that kitchen hatch, and he's not likely to do so. At least Order find a pick 4v4. What I was saying about QC is they know exactly when to play aggro, exactly when to sit side. You look at the way that they can test the roam early on, that is their bread and butter. And as soon as they find the pick, all back to site.
Yeah, now there's just a lot of pressure on them right here because they've only got that Moto hatch open. It's just a bit of a funnel point. That being said, QConfirm actually have opened the rotate in the rush wall towards the back of Arsenal. So there could be an opening there for them, and Nate's managed to find a pick. So this is one of the first times Order's actually had man advantage.
Oh no, Hajime flash. Nico still has no idea. Oh, Hajime. He does find Nico, can't back it up with a second, and he does get traded from the hatch. Order, another oversight, another risk taken by QC, but one that pays off. That said, 3v2 now for Order, and they're in their best chance they've been all game of taking a round. Now 3-on-1. It's right there on the silver platter, and they are waiting to grasp it. Dark is the man who needs to step up for his team. He can deny the plant. There needs to be a trade. Order have got to hunt him down. He's just going to wait. 6 seconds left. Bailey finishes him. Order finally take their first round of the match.
Good for Order to have managed to secure that round. It's definitely going to help the mentals for sure and help them try and build something from here. If they manage to salvage a 4-2 half, honestly, that's not that bad. The way that this half has really played out, if they do manage to get these last two, I don't know whether I call it a win for Order, but it's certainly a much better picture than what it felt like it was going to be. But yeah, look, great job from them. They never really let that round slip away. So yeah, it's kept them in touch. But QConfirm here, they've identified Order is still quite sloppy, I guess, on the attack of Church Arsenal. So they're going to go back to that side.
It's going to be a huge confidence booster, though, for Order to know that they finally have taken their first round. Now, they've lost a player on this roam, at least one player, both times they've attacked it so far. Surely that is the first indicator that this round is playing better. Like, if they can just tidy up that roam clear phase, surely Order will be in so much better of a position to take this attack.
Definitely agree. Like, it's just that first phase on these attacks in particular that Order are just struggling. They really are. It's just at least 3 roamers of QC, and they're kind of very spread out. I mean, we had, I think it was Hajime, no, Dark was playing on the top floor on the Wamai, and he was kind of poking from red stairs. You had a player kind of poking around bar and lounge, and then another just hovering around storage stairs. And it was just, I don't know, again, Order just very split, couldn't quite get an effective pinch on that roam clear. So yeah, if I'm QConfirm, just keep abusing that. And now they've got Lycolis here on the pulse to be able to get some extra intel.
Yeah, you can see QC, they're not just going back and trying the exact same thing, right? You've got the pulse instead of the Valk, so still info gathering, still the C4, just a little bit of a different manifestation of it. Also, you've got Producer Boom switched off of the smoke and onto the Bandit with a shotgun. So I'm guessing he's going to really try and hold onto that church wall and really just take close range fights. We've also got Hajime with the Frost as well. Definitely an operator that punishes teams that aren't doing their due diligence, aren't checking every windowsill, every little hallway where one of those Frost mats might be. And at the moment, Order is that team.
Just noting too, Producer Boom C4 is apparently used. So
What
I'm
is
thinking
this?
pre-placed. And again, Dark just catching off
Like,
Order. There's a
there was
drone
a
in front of
drone!
the main stairs.
There was a drone on him! Order!
No way.
No! Did they not drone him out? Did they not watch the... Oh.
I mean, look, he might have
I'm
just
dying
found...
inside for
He
Order.
might have just found an opening. You know, this is the downside when you have 5 players alive. Not everybody can be on, or not somebody can be on drones at all time. So maybe he just found the window.
Oh.
Either way, that is quite dark. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
But, look, they're going to be able to get the trade here, surely.
Oh, no!
Actually, they're not.
Spec up!
Oh,
no! Dark! He is making Order look ridiculous right now. 3 kills! 3 kills on the round. And now Order got to decide, do they commit? Do they just hunt him down?
There we
and they do. Finally, it took 3 players and almost 2 minutes. But Bailey gets the killing blow onto Dark, who's now sitting comfortably as a top fragger this game. 8 kills. Thanks to that mad 3K. Order have got to pick up the pieces with a minute to go.
They sure do. Finally get a glimpse at this pre-placed C4 as well. It's in kitchen. I don't think it's going to get utilized now, though, because I feel like that was a trap to try and catch either Nate or Nico, being the main 2 players that would be playing in that kitchen area. But not the case anymore. Look, at least Jack Dad has got Moto hatch open. He's going to be able to try and at least facilitate some kind of pinch here, but no, I think this is going to be a very tough round to turn around for Order.
35 seconds. Those bandit batches won't do much for Jack Daddy's blowtorch, and he's going to look to get breach on that church wall, I do believe. That said, QC have got the manpower here. They can hold out. Jack starts to get a breach on. 20 seconds left to go, and Lycolis has got some angles that he can use himself. Jack's got to find some insane shots here, and Bailey's got to help backing it up. They do, though. But Bailey left on his lonesome. 1 versus 2. 1 versus 1. Bailey! How does he make it possible? It's all on Lycolis. And Bailey has to stick this diffuser. Lycolis should be able to clutch this out. Bailey gave it his all. But Lycolis wins the 1-on-1. The most unreal game we are watching right now. QConfirm. Lock in that half. 5 rounds to 1.
Deservedly so, honestly. I mean, they were kind of all over Order for a majority of that half, so I feel like the scoreboard kind of reflects that. Again, though, Bailey almost he was so close. He's going to be kicking himself. He was half a centimeter away from just finding the back of Lycolis before he skated on up to dirt. Unreal. And then Lycolis almost just ran straight past him in that post plant. Not quite post plant, but oh my god.
It's actually kind of funny. Like, that is one of those things that happens so fast that I don't think the game actually could keep up with it, because Bailey didn't actually finish planting the diffuser, right? Because otherwise we would have needed to see the counter diffuse animation before the round ended, right? So Bailey must have gotten off the diffuse plant before locking it in, but with enough time for Lycolis to kill him. So that is like a game of milliseconds right there. Like, somehow that exchange happened before the round ended on time. So I don't know what's happening there. This game is cooked. I'm resigned to that fact.
Well, look, now Order get a chance to be on defense. They have a bit of an opportunity here to try and mount a comeback. Maybe we're just simply seeing a heavily defender-sided series here between these two. Maybe QConfirm will also struggle just as much on attack. I have a feeling that's not going to be the case, but it's definitely possible.
Well, there is a word that we like to use for what we can only assume Order might be feeling right now, and that is chalked. Like, it's my favorite word these days. Their mental must be chalked, right? Like, there's definitely a world in which Order win 5 rounds on their defense, but I don't necessarily see that happening seconds after they lose 5 rounds on their attack. That is the problem.
They've also used their timeout already as well. Like, it's do or die right now for Order. If QConfirm win another round even, it's going to be overtime, so even 3 points is off the table for Order, which is critical at this point. We're at Playday 6, like, we're not talking about the rest of the stage, even the rest of the season. Stage is almost over, season is almost over, so 3 points at this point is super critical, and Order are just 1 round away from not being able to get that potential critical 3 points.
It's just about inevitable that if Order lose this game, they will be playing relegations at this point. With where they sit, with Wildcard and Direwolves playing up next, it's almost inevitable. But Jack, he's looking for something. Producer Boom is avidly watching, and now he backs off. QConfirm might be punished though with an early C4. Nate doesn't quite blow it at the right time. And Spacehead's going to be very happy about that. You can see how cautiously QConfirm are playing, a stark contrast to what we saw on Order's attack. It looks like, despite these roamers, QConfirm isn't necessarily going to get punished by them.
Oh, Nico on the pre-fire too, really thought he was going to try and catch somebody rotating past stock, and already falling apart here. Bailey's going to be the first, or the opening death there on storage stairs. Looks like Order are keen to get aggressive. Specker is not giving up this catch position. Jack Dad is looking to replace on storage stairs there. No, he's dropped back now, it's Nico. But either way, Order not looking to surrender this. But to your point, Dev, QConfirm are just being that much more careful, and they're landing these shots, so this is looking grim already for Order.
It just feels like QConfirm are playing the perfect playstyle to counter Order. Like, they're not even hard pushing the roamers. They're taking a little bit of map control and then just holding the flanks. But it could live and die here on the Executors. Lycolis goes in, and it looks like it lives. The pistol to finish it off. 5 versus 1 for poor Nate. In the top 5 in however many categories, it might not matter unless if you can clutch in a moment like this. But it ends with a flawless round. QConfirm take the match point here over Order at 6 rounds to 1.
Yeah, that's it. That's it's QConfirm going to match point now, and as we were saying, that's 3 points off the table for Order. The best they can salvage is overtime, but there's no more mistakes here. 5 rounds consecutively is what they need. Felt like they were barely going to get 1 in that first half, and after that round, I don't know, Dev, this feels like it's imminent that this could be over, but of course, Order could summon something pretty hectic here. 95% mental, it's in their blood, it's in their brand. Maybe they can turn it around.
A marathon to run here for the Aussies and Kiwis on this team for Order. QConfirm looking to assert tie dominance in this match, and Order have just about no response better than this. But even if Stage 3 has been a good run in APAC South for Order, currently at the start of this Playday in 4th place in a playoffs contention position. But with how tight the standings are, that's only 2 points above the very bottom team in 8th place. And with this loss and the matches going on today, there is no doubt Order will be sitting in one of those bottom spots on the standings for Stage 3, while also occupying the bottom spot in APAC South 2021 season. Incredibly endangered of relegations. QConfirm can wipe the sweat off their brow right here, right now, win this next round, and book their ticket for the 2022 season of APAC South League.
That's right, so let's see whether QConfirm can just lock it in straight away here. It's going to be gym bedroom, so see whether Order can summon some super strength here. QConfirm already not wasting any time, going to open this Kennel's wall. Curious to see whether they go open Jacuzzi, because that was something that Order just weren't doing, and we felt like that was the critical point that was really messing with their attacks. But looks like there's quite an aggressive roam here from Order trying to catch up QConfirm.
There it is. And it does, but the trade comes through. The first opening kill traded all match long, and it's traded back with interest. QConfirm punishing Specker as well. Order throwing everything they've got at the wall, and they've got her. They absolutely have got her.
Yep, they do. They really do. 3 alive now. They've got the man disadvantage. Still a decent amount of map control, but yes, they lost a lot of bodies in that roam. Nico, in fact, still down in the basement.
And droned out.
Yeah, droned out by Hajime, so if he could just cut off from the storage stairs, or I don't know what Nico's play is right here, but if that's 2 on site, QConfirm, this is it's theirs for the taking right now.
Attackers recovered the diffuser.
Looks like they are keeping an eye on Nico, but for now focusing instead on site. Droned out Nate on the Frost. Producer Boom on the windows. He can cut off a lot of these rotations. QConfirm just need to aim at minimizing 1v1s. They've got the man advantage, especially here on site. They need to leverage that.
Yep, Spacehead just going direct right here. They are going to catch Order off guard completely. This feels like it could be done quite soon. He's dead.
Oh! Producer Boom somehow dies and Nate gets dark. The timing there was not for QC. 2 on 2 now. Spacehead hopes to regroup with his teammate. Hajime needs to get a move on, but Nico as well. And the read is here from Spacehead. It may well be a drone. Will Nico walk straight into it? He does. Out of the frying pan into the fire now for Order. In the 1v2, Nate! He's got it out in the second. He does! Order! Take a breath, and a deep one at that, as Nate keeps them alive for one more round.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. QConfirm really botched that. Again, bit of friendly fire on the Goyo shield there, but yeah, my word. Nate really stepping it up for Order, and again, we talked about how he's really actually having quite the impact in the stage stats at the moment. Here he is, once again, stepping up for Order, giving them that chance. 4 rounds left for them to try and bring this back, and gonna go back down to Church Arsenal.
And their last Church Arsenal defense was flawless against them. Order's roam was countered perfectly by QC, still on match point for QC. It feels inevitable that they will close this out, but Order have taken that very, very first step, that first step of many that they will need to claw this back to take even a single point out of this game by pushing overtime. Still 2 points on the cards should they win it in OT. But even a single point here would get them out of wildcards level on the seasonal standings. That's what Order have got to be most concerned with at the moment. That's what Order fans have got to be most concerned with. Will we see this team in APAC South next year? Or will they be playing Nationals in hopes of qualifying to get back here? That Order skin that you've got on the 552 Commando for IQ is thanks to them playing in this league. And they need to show that they have earned that skin right here in the server and avoid relegations.
Heat is definitely on for them, so this is the time to rise and shine, really. See whether they can fix some of these issues from the first round of the half here. QConfirm not wasting any time here. Try and start to clear out Order's roam, because again, they are trying to play quite aggressive here. It looks 2 to 3 off site, which is what we saw in round 7. It didn't quite work out that well for them back then, and QConfirm looking quite organized and trying to shut this down.
Oh, Nico almost finds the headshot. But he is shut down, and like you said, the roam continues to be such a struggle, and it looks like you can see you have just red order like a book. They found the first two, no trade, no response. 2 order players on the red stairs as QC start to close their fingers, start to tighten their grasp, and that they do. Only 2 players left for Order, just a single member of Order remaining. Nate, he's clutched the 1v2. Can he clutch the 1 versus 5? He finds the first. And he floods back to side, but it looks like QC have found it before he could get there. Now he's got to find 3, low HP, and that is not enough to win it. QConfirm take a decisive victory, putting Order back in their place with a 7-2.
Yeah, very strong victory in the end from QConfirm. It started to feel quite inevitable, but Order just hung in there for a little bit. But no, QConfirm dominant from start to finish really on that one. They really showed that they wanted to win this game. They wanted to get themselves secure for next year, and this was quite the statement victory coming out of QConfirm.